Hi, well, here we are at the house. I'm Paul Durant. Thanks for joining me on the walkthrough. And this is the front door. It's still covered in cardboard, as you can see, because the builders don't want to damage anything as they go through and move things in and out, etc. So a lot of stuff is still covered in cardboard, but let's have a look. Well, here we are inside the house for the first actual walkthrough. There isn't still a lot to see, but at least you get a really good sense of where we're at with the house. And the first thing we need to do is take off our shoes, because even in a house that's being built in Japan, you have to take off your shoes to go in. So let me just put on my slippers and we'll get going. Here we are. This is the first stop on the tour. This is the kitchen area. We'll have a stove, oven, etc. Refrigerator over here. Nice, spacious kitchen, and a fantastic window to wash dishes and prepare food. So that's exciting. There'll be a kitchen island here as well. So we're gonna have some space where we can actually prepare some real food. But this, I guess, is the main room. This is the most exciting place in the house, the living room. And as you can see, we have a giant double door here, French door, which we can look out into the sort of forest, a little bit of a forested area. We also have forest views out the front window. And amazingly, we've got some mountain views out the front window too. This area is going to be where it's going to be our dining area, our living area. We're even going to have a wood-burning stove here eventually to keep us warm. The ceiling's already pretty much finished. The wood paneling on the walls kind of gives it that sort of rustic look, which we kind of were going for. A little bit of a log cabin feel, which my son was really excited about having. So we actually duplicated that look in his bedroom too. So let's keep going. We'll step up here and have a look at the office and the Japanese room. So this is the office in here. You can kind of see some interesting things still here because the walls haven't been covered yet. We haven't got the drywall up yet, and there's no wood paneling. So you can see kind of interesting things like this is one of the notes that the builders makes. They've got this up at 165 centimeters. This is actually going to be a position for a light switch. But this is a really interesting thing because the builders will make notes for themselves on the wood. So it's kind of cool. Later on, someday when they're perhaps disassembling this house, they can go back and see what we ordered and what we asked for, and also the notes that they made for themselves. So that's kind of interesting. So this is the Japanese room, and if you look at the ceilings up here, you can see what I talked about in my last video about the ceilings. They did a fantastic job with these. Of course, they're going to refinish these beams as well, but I think that ceiling looks really beautiful. Here's some more notes that they make. This room will have tatami mats on the floor, so the floor is unfinished at the moment, and it'll have kind of Japanese walls, Japanese papered walls, so that'll be kind of a cool look, I think, as well. This looks like a tiny, tiny space, and it is a tiny space, but we are maximizing space as much as we can. This is actually going to be the room for the toilet, and the toilet will be sitting back here, and as you can see, Kubota-san has made us a very nice little piece of furniture here, a little inside wall niche, so that's a nook or whatever they're called. So this will be the bathroom, and then here will be a tiny little sort of just hand washing sink that'll be convenient and just kind of stuck into the wall a little bit. This is really maximizing space, Japanese style, in this part of the house. Next we'll go upstairs, and what you can see from this angle, you can't see it now, but if you look up, there will be a giant sort of lofted ceiling up here, you'll have windows up on the second floor, giant windows. It'll be a huge open space, but it's covered right now so that the builders can work on whatever they need to work on, so we can't really get the full effect, but you'll see it when we go upstairs. Well, here we are on the second floor, and up here we have a few interesting things. The first thing that I want to show is these windows. We're going to see these windows from down in the living room, and it's going to be just this huge open space. It's closed off right now, as I mentioned, because the builders are building, using it to store wood, etc., as you can see. But this is going to be just a fantastic view from the living room and from this sort of mezzanine room we have up here. We'll have a nice rail here, a couple of some space for some chairs, etc. We'll duplicate that same wooded wall paneling up in this mezzanine area. So I think that this is going to be a really exciting space. Let's go into the master bedroom. This is the master bedroom. We're going to do this one also Japanese style. So the floors will have tatami. You can see they're unfinished now. There will be tatami mats on the floors, and a couple of nice windows looking out into the backyard and into the forest over here. So that's nice. But we also have this giant shoji screen window that we'll be building, which will open and close. And it'll have a nice view of the living room down below, but obviously it's going to have a view of these amazing windows as well. So even from our bedroom, we're going to have a view of these windows, of those mountains, and of that forest. Here again is another example of the Japanese style roof that we wanted. That was a little bit of a surprise to our builders, Shimokawa-san and Kubota-san. Back out of the mezzanine, and there's a couple of things to point out here. This is the bath area. It's going to be like a bath, but it's also going to be a laundry room, whatever water things that you need to do. So the bath area is going to be this giant area here. There'll be a nice tub, good space. It's really quite large actually. And we have a nice view of the mountains that we'll be able to enjoy while sitting in the bath. So that's pretty nice. And then over here there'll be just a sink, some washer, dryer system. Nice view over here as well. A lot of times in Japan people use system baths, which are cool and they work out fine. But we really wanted something that looked a bit more classic. So we're going with the full tiled bath and old school bathtub, etc. Now let's go into the kids' room. In here, this is actually the best room in the house. It's kind of small, but it looks small from here, but that's because there's also a space above. Nice loft, so that makes it fantastic for kids. And I think that my son is going to really love this room. This room also has great views. It's got a nice view of the tree. It's got a view of the cherry tree, sakura tree on the side of the house, which is actually all of the side windows have a view of that tree, so that'll be great for spring. And as I said, we're kind of going with the rustic look in here because my son wanted to live in a log cabin. This is about as close as we're gonna get. But this loft is amazing. Man, I wish I had a loft like that when I was a kid. An amazing place. Next, let's go out to the balcony. This is kind of a signature feature of this house. When we first saw the house that sort of inspired us, one of the things that stood out was this sort of balcony that they had in the front of the house on the second floor, and we kind of wanted to mimic that look a little bit. We changed it and modified it to match the look that we're doing and the type of house we're doing, but still, this is a really, I think, signature piece of the house. There's a lot of snow out there, but you can see what we're doing. The wood inside here is actually going to be stained a little bit darker, but not the full-on yakisugi or burnt cedar look. It's going to be a little bit more brown, and this is just going to be an amazing place to sit and relax and look at the views. I hope year round. Even in the winter, it doesn't get that much snow. So I'm hoping that we can probably step out and maybe even have a barbecue in the middle of winter. We'll see what happens. Well, now there's one last place to look at, which is the closet. It's a big giant walk-in closet. We have these two doors up here that sort of match the look of the two doors downstairs. They sort of mimic that. So the closet actually has an outside entrance, but as a closet, this is a very large space. I can do this, and there's still plenty of room. Yeah, this is a really nice space and closet with a window. So who can beat that? So that is pretty much what the house is. The next time I walk through, probably you'll see the finished product. Maybe 2-3 months down the road. I don't know when it's going to be. Could be even sooner. But I'll keep making these videos week after week to let you know where we're at.